Why, hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. Today we are covering episode 5 of season 1 of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And it is called Decoy for a Dognapper. It originally aired on October 11th, 1969. So there will be a new format to my show. I'll get into the details at the end of the episode review. As you may have noticed, I've been gone for a bit. I had to take down my videos for a bit. I will explain that all later. I just wanted to mention that we have a new format now, and I'm just going to go chronologically through the series. So right now we're doing Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Season 1. We're doing episode 5 because I've done the previous 4 episodes before. Next week we'll do episode 6, 7, 8, etc. When I get to the end of season 1, I think I'll do a overall rating. I'll rank my episodes for season 1, and I think that will be a lot of fun. And my ratings will probably change on some of these episodes too. When I realize, I might like this episode better than another, I might have to readjust my ratings. So I think that will be fun. And I can no longer take requests. That's why I get this new format. Again, I will put all the details of why after the episode. It's just when you run a YouTube channel, there are legalities. You can get sued for the strangest things. So I will explain that after the episode. And then we'll just move on and I'll continue on with this series. And I'm happy to be back and that I'm able to do this. So enough of that. Decoy for a Dognapper. This episode was of particular interest to me as it features another Great Dane who is much more chiseled and angular than Scooby-Doo. And this might be an inside joke because I recently read Iwao Takamoto's autobiography, and he originally kind of developed Scooby to be like a Great Dane, chiseled, with a very strong chin. But then he made the Great Dane a little more comical. And I think this is the reason why this is kind of like an inside joke, because Scooby acts as a decoy for a show dog that is a Great Dane. So I thought that was rather funny. And what else do we got going on here? This is an interesting episode too, because we see the Mystery Machine with some high-tech tracking gadgets in the back. We get some computers, we get some tracking devices, and these don't turn up in later episodes of the earlier seasons. And I thought that was rather fascinating. And I kind of wish they carried on with that, but they did not. We also get to see Shaggy eat a Scooby Snack for the first time in this episode, so that is rather historical. And this is the first episode where Daphne kind of gets kidnapped. You'll see what I mean when we get to that. She does get kidnapped, but Velma kind of falls into a trapdoor too, so they both kind of get kidnapped, except Daphne actually gets tied up in this episode. We also get Scooby on a leash, which I don't think we've seen that before either so far in this series. So a lot of firsts in here, but does the episode hold up? We'll get to that at the end when I give my final review. Anyway, enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get to it. The episode begins with Scooby out for a stroll during the day. Yes, the day. No spooky castles or haunted beaches to set the tone for this one. Scooby spots a female poodle out for a walk with her posh owner and presents the poodle with a makeshift bouquet of flowers. The poodle walks by ignoring Scooby, but as the poodle and the owner walk behind some bushes, the poodle is dognapped. The rest of the gang are partying it up on a beach at night. Shaggy and Velma are roasting some hot dogs while Freddy and Daphne dance to some groovy music. Scooby rushes in, and he must have ran quite some ways because it's now nighttime, and he changes the radio to the news. On the news, we hear a reporter explain that this is the 3rd time a prize dog has been kidnapped in the last 3 days. Buck Masters, the owner of the first dog who had been stolen, is offering up a $500 reward. Freddy declares they've just been handed their next mystery.
The Dognappers have struck again. The 3rd prize dog kidnapped in the last 3 days. Here's another bulletin. Buck Masters, the owner of the first dog stolen, has just offered a $500 reward.
We've just been handed our next mystery.
At Buckmaster's office, Buck explains that he refused to pay the ransom and instead wanted to use the money to catch the crooks instead.
I've decided not to pay the ransom. I'd rather use the money to catch those crooks. I was sure to win first prize at the county dog show this year.
Buck explains that he was guaranteed to win first prize at the dog show that year, but now his competitor Bob Miller will win with his Great Dane.
Did you say Great Dane? Mr. Masters, we're gonna find out who's stealing those dogs.
Yep, Dognappers, beware.
The gang come up with an idea to use Scooby as a decoy for Bob Miller's dog so they can trail the Dognapper to their headquarters. Freddy has a tracking transmitter that will allow them to track Scooby with ease, and they decide to put the transmitter in Scooby's collar.
See this picture of the champion? This'll help a lot.
Come on, Freddy, tell us, what's the plan?
We'll give the Dognappers a decoy. We'll plant this tiny transmitter in the decoy's collar.
Who dognapped Scooby for ransom?
Out on Beach Boulevard, Shaggy walks Scooby on a leash at night. Midway through the walk, a van begins to smoke, causing a cloud of dust to fill the evening sky. Caught in the smoke, Shaggy loses Scooby after a mysterious hand cuts the dog leash and whisks Scooby away. Shaggy runs to a nearby gas station and asks the attendant named Charlie if he has a car he can borrow. Charlie offers up his motor scooter, and before he can blink, Shaggy takes chase of the mysterious van on the scooter.
Charlie, you got any wheels I can borrow?
Just my motor scooter.
Thanks, man!
Freddy and Velma notice on the tracking computer that Scooby's transmitter is moving faster than it should, so he must have been kidnapped and is probably in a car. So they take chase as well. Driving the motor scooter, Shaggy comes across the ghost of Geronimo and crashes into a log, throwing him out of the chase.
It's Geronimo!
We then cut to the Dognapper's secret headquarters and we see the other dogs in some cages along with a Native American witch doctor. The Native American witch doctor opens up a wooden crate that his accomplice Mike has unloaded. Instead of Miller's Great Dane, he sees that it is Scooby, and boy is he not impressed. The witch doctor instructs Mike to get rid of Scooby by tossing him on a handcart that runs down the mountain.
So you got Miller's Great Dane. You fool! That's not Bob Miller's champion Great Dane. Give him a ride down the mountain on the old hand car.
Mike tosses Scooby back in the crate and heads away. Freddy meets up with Shaggy, and Shaggy explains the ghost of Geronimo that he saw. Velma spots no prints but discovers a 1,000-year-old tomahawk on the ground. Scooby's collar transmitter pings, and Daphne sees that it is heading for Indian Gap, so Freddy decides they should go and intercept the transmitter. This is good news for Scooby, as Mike has tied the crate to a handcart, and he sends Scooby flying down the train tracks. Scooby manages to saw a hole out of the crate and he sticks his head out. With his head sticking out, Shaggy spots him as he flies by. Freddy steps on the gas of the Mystery Machine and Shaggy jumps out of the van and onto the cart. Unfortunately, the handcart goes towards a bridge and the Mystery Machine can no longer take chase. Shaggy tries to slow the cart down but has problems as the brake is rusted. To make matters even worse, they're still on the bridge and there's a train headed their way, so they can't jump off the cart. Shaggy manages to unrust the switch and he sets the cart into reverse. They finally make it across the bridge and Freddy throws another switch, sending the train out of their way. Freddy asks Scooby if he knows where the secret headquarters is, but Scooby isn't much help, he just imitates Geronimo. With this being the only clue they have, the gang take the handcart back to where Velma found the tomahawk. On their journey there, an arrow strikes the handcart and they spot the ghostly form of Geronimo. Freddy examines the arrow and notices that it is factory made. Shaggy observes an Indian village up on the mountain and Freddy has everyone climb up so they can explore.
Let's get back to the hand car. Well, this arrow isn't for real. It's factory made. Looks deserted, but somebody's up there. Gang, we've got to get up to that Indian village.
Up on the mountain village, they come across the Indian witch doctor who tells them to leave or they will suffer the same fate as the Spanish conquistadors who were buried in the desert below. Velma makes note that the Indian speaks good English for being 1,000 years old.
Leave this place, pale-faced intruders, or suffer fate of Spanish conquistadores, buried in desert below. Remember my warning. and go.
Instead of splitting up for once, Freddy suggests that everyone heads towards the dome-shaped building. Some crazy bat action splits the gang up instead, and Velma loses her glasses, and Shaggy and Scooby run away in fear. Freddy and Daphne end up at the dome-shaped building, which Freddy explains is the ceremonial building where they held their special rites.
This looks like their ceremonial building.
Perfect place for a witch doctor to live.
Yeah.
Freddy, this place gives me goosebumps.
Inside, he spots a fire, and the witch doctor emerges behind the flames at an altar. The witch doctor tells him once again to leave before disappearing once again.
You have violated the sacred temple. You will remain here forever.
While Freddy examines the altar, Daphne triggers a trapdoor and she's carried off before Freddy even realizes that she's gone. Always hungry, Scooby smells food and leads Shaggy to a storeroom full of canned dog food and human food as well. Scooby realizes that they've found the Dognapper's hideout, and as a reward, the pair make themselves a special sandwich. Before Scooby can mow down on his treat, a hand pushes him into a secret trapdoor where he flies down a ramp and crashes into Daphne, who's tied up to a post alongside the other caged dogs. Freddy figures out the altar's secrets and opens it to reveal Velma, Daphne, and Scooby, who are lost within the village's secret pathways. They also find the kidnapped dogs, who explain to Scooby where the witch doctor is hiding. Freddy commands the dogs to sick the witch doctor, and they run off in the witch doctor's direction. Everyone now, including Shaggy, is caught up in the witch doctor's chase, and they corner the witch doctor up on a beam that he has climbed. Scooby unmasks him, and it is revealed to be Buck Masters.
It's Buck Masters, the owner of Big Red.
You blasted kids.
At the sheriff's office, they explain that Buck was going to kidnap all of the dogs that could beat his dog, who was named Big Red.
Who would have suspected Masters of dog-napping his own pet?
Once kidnapped, his plan was to release Big Red before the show, where Big Red would end up winning first prize by default. The Phantom Geronimo was simply a projection used from the back of Buck's truck. I give this episode a 7 out of 10. While I did enjoy the witch doctor, he didn't have much to do. He only appears 4 times. First time, he's just like yelling at Mike, his partner, to like, hey, you doofus, you caught the wrong dog, get rid of him. Second time and third time, he's just like, get out of my village or else harm will come your way. And then the fourth time, he's cornered on some beam as some dogs yap at him. So, yeah, he looks cool. Not much to do. It was obvious he was some modern guy in a witch doctor mask because, 1,000 years ago, this witch doctor wouldn't even speak English, as Velma mentioned later on in the episode. And then the Ghost of Geronimo, he was not very memorable. I didn't really like that part. It was kind of like, projection. Yeah, we know that was how they did it. And even in the episode, they give it like 2 seconds explaining it. It was just, And then what I did like about this episode, I did appreciate the high-tech gear in the Mystery Machine, and I wish they ran with that in later episodes. They never really went with this later on in Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? But it was cool seeing all this tracking computers and the setup and the radar they had. That was kind of really cool, and I enjoyed that. And I did appreciate the Great Train Dodge scene. That was cool too. We hadn't seen that yet in a Scooby-Doo episode. I don't think we see that in any other Scooby-Doo episodes later on with Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? But it is common. It's a common trope in cartoons. So it was nice to see Scooby-Doo get their chance to run with that trope. But overall, not a great episode, not a bad episode. Only one person recommended this to me. John recommended this to me. And I could see why John liked it. Myself, I did like it, but it's not as great as the first 3 episodes of this series and some of the later episodes of this series. I don't think it'll be my weakest episode when I review them all together, but probably be in the bottom for me. They also really didn't do much with the set pieces either with this episode. It was just kind of jumping around, and it seemed like there was a lot of filler and a lot of cheap gags, and 7 out of 10 for me. But even though it was kind of forgettable for me, I'll take it over than some of the modern interpretations of Scooby-Doo any day. I still like the artwork in this. I still like the companionship between Scooby and Shaggy, and I still like the original interpretations of the gang. So now we're going to get to the part where I discuss why I went off the air for about 4 months. And that was because my videos were starting to get blocked by the copyright holder of Scooby-Doo. So someone who works for the company that owns the copyright manually was blocking my videos, and I just wanted to take them all down before they got all blocked, and I wanted to see if I could communicate with them. I did get in touch with the copyright owner, and they had an issue with me having a website, and they had an issue with me having a Facebook page because they want to monetize off my videos. And they can't do that due to COPA laws, where COPA is Child Protection Act of America or something. I forget what it stands for. Child Protection Act. And with that act, if you have videos intended for kids, which my videos aren't really intended for kids, but because it's a cartoon, because I dress up like a professor, wear this lab coat and this wig, kids would find it appealing. When I look at the demographics for my videos, it's mostly people 55 and older watching them, surprisingly, like by like 80% of my videos. But that makes sense because these episodes are over 50 years old, I guess. So, but because I want to abide by the COPA laws, I can't communicate with anyone whatsoever because that is part of the law, unfortunately for me. And that's unfortunate for me because I really enjoyed talking to everyone in the past. So that's why I'm shifting to just a structure where I'm just going to review, and we'll keep it that way. I'd rather be putting out the videos because I know a lot of people got a lot of enjoyment out of them, so I want to keep that going. I do miss talking to everyone. I don't know if I can work out something maybe where I can have an anonymous form that people can just submit, not requests, but just comments, and but then I couldn't reply to you, so I don't know if that will work. But that is one of the reasons why I had to take my videos off. I did get in touch with them, and they made no guarantees that they'd block it in the future, which is unfortunate. They have dozens of people working for them, so whatever. And I'm just also not happy that they can monetize on it. And I'm not happy because it takes the money away from me. I never intended to really make money off of this channel. I wouldn't mind making, a couple bucks to buy DVDs and such or whatever, but I never intended to get rich off this channel. I don't think you could doing this material. But the reason why I don't want them to monetize is that when companies do that, they often put the highest limit on the monetization. So you'd be watching my video and you get like an ad every several minutes or so. I just find that annoying. So I want to structure my videos hopefully that they don't get monetized. Because I don't mind if the ads are at the start and where you can skip them, but when you're watching like 5 minutes in, I just find those ads disruptive. But if they do start monetizing in that way, I guess that's something I have to live with. But yeah, so that is why I had to stop, and I got it worked out. Fortunately, 2 videos I could not unblock, so I'll be redoing them. They had issue with those 2 videos because I was suggesting people buy the DVDs, and I had a paid for link where I'd make like 3 cents off if someone bought the DVD. So I had to take those down, and I will unfortunately deleted those, so I can't even go back and edit them. So I have to redo it from scratch. But anyways, that's all I have for this week. Next week we will be doing What the Heck's Going On. And until then, stay spooky.